rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens roar. You'll behold in breathless wonder the god of thunder, mighty Thor.
And welcome to the continuing adventures of Superhero Speak, episode 30. So, this is our Thor episode.
It is?
Yes. What do you think, Pete?
Sounds good.
So this one is me, your host, Dave.
And Ben. How you doing?
And Pete.
Don't be
What do you
scared,
want?
Pete. It's Pete, we promise it'll be painless. So just like we did with Iron Man 3, we've recorded a half hour of us talking about the movie, what we thought of Thor 1, and our hopes and dreams are for this one. And then immediately after that we see the movie, we will record a half hour of us and our reaction to the movie. So listen to the whole thing.
And we apologize in advance if there are completely different people in the second half.
Maybe.
You guys aren't inviting me back?
Yes. Sorry, Pete.
We will have doppelgangers.
Oh, okay.
All right, and here we go.
So, I heard that this new Marvel movie coming out
Yeah.
about some Asgardian dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear about that? Have you actually,
That's pretty interesting, actually.
before we get into any of that, have you been looking at any of the news online?
Not today.
So, we all heard the news yesterday that Marvel is doing 4 new shows for Netflix, plus a miniseries, and now they're doing another show on ABC. They haven't said what hero it is yet.
Interesting. I did not hear about this.
And if the Daredevil show does well on Netflix, that will also be a movie.
Nice.
Oh, that is good. That's they can they can finally make a Daredevil movie.
Yes.
Yes.
'Cause they have failed to do so thus far.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that Ben Affleck thing didn't exist.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
But he was great in Phantoms.
Yeah.
He was the bomb in Phantoms.
That's true.
It was.
True story.
Yeah, so I thought, that was kind of exciting.
So what you're saying is Marvel is winning the universe.
Yes, Marvel is winning. All right, so do we want to... All right, so how do we want to do this? You want to do... That means Pete has to actually go see Thor 2.
Maybe.
No, I will. I mean, does it have to be today? You are seeing it today, Ben, right?
I am going to see it today. I'll be going at I have tickets for a 420 showing.
Yeah.
I am probably not seeing it today. Hopefully tomorrow. So.
Yeah, I was. If not this weekend, I was going to see it this week anyway.
By the way, just a little piece of information for you. I will be seeing it in 3D. Not because it's any better necessarily in 3D, but because as one of the incentives to drive people to see the 3D version, they're showing a special 5-minute Captain America Winter Soldier trailer only in front of the 3D version.
Definitely have to do that then. It's just going to be me and the wifey. We're not taking the kids to see this, only because years old is. It's a little tricky when it comes to dark movies like this.
How old?
5 years.
Okay. I will say that both of my kids are coming, who are 7 and nearly 10.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 is good.
7 is good. My
Five,
son
that's
did
fine.
see the first Thor movie in the theater, though, and that was a couple years ago. So maybe that makes me a bad parent. Who knows? Anyway.
Well, it does. Yeah, we won't. We'll agree to that.
I'm not saying I'm not a
not-
bad parent.
this
I'm just saying, I'm not sure if that qualifies me there.
Okay.
No, I would say this is more of a. I know my kid personally very well.
I would
I
hope so.
And I know that dark movies don't sit well with him. So
Yeah. No, I actually had There was a bit of a chore when we went to go see the Avengers. My son, during that initial scene, the chase scene with Loki, he freaked out to the point that he wanted to leave the theater. And it took a decent amount of coaxing to get him to come back in. As a matter of fact, it took the realization that what we were watching was fake that made him willing to come watch it again.
Okay, so do we want to do an official start and then talk about
Have you
Thor?
been recording this whole time?
He's always recording.
I'm always.
I was
Oh my
going to
God.
make that caveat when we finally did record, but I forgot about it.
No, you should actually send a guy a message first. Come on.
My Skype just always records. So.
Oh, okay.
And I have 2 programs that are recording too, so there's always a backup.
Right.
Oh,
I don't think there's anything we've said so far that can't be part of the episode, though. So I think
I'm good. Even this part, I hope makes it to the episode.
Yes. So, Thor 2, The Dark World, where we get to see Thor and Loki hug it out.
That's right.
Yeah, have you seen the
fake poster?
Yeah, the fake poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that apparently actually got put in a movie theater in Shanghai.
Yes.
Very nice.
Where they're cuddling.
Yes.
They're brothers. They should cuddle.
He loves his brother.
Half brother. He's adopted.
Ah.
I want to say this about the only news I've actually read is how well it did in the box office. Opening day is estimated, $31.6 million.
Wow.
Nice.
It's pretty good for day one.
Not only that, it's really good for a movie this late in the year as well.
Yeah. Talking about early November. Yeah, we're not even into the thick of the holiday season yet.
Yeah. I mean, we're approaching the Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday movie season, but it is, it's sort of the early cusp of it.
Right.
It is. Yeah. Anyway, it was really good news. I like that that Thor can even draw that big of a crowd. But I know it's Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston.
Right.
But
I have opted not to read too much of the press on it. I have noticed though that there seems to be, prior to most recently, like say a week ago after it had premiered, there was some critical reviews of it, and the general consensus I got is they loved Loki in it. We're not a huge fan of Malekith the Accursed, which is Chris Eccleston's character in the movie.
Yep.
But I'm willing to give it a shot and see how they play it out.
Right. It's that should be interesting because I keep wondering with the whole Loki thing. It's like, all right, we had him in Thor as the villain. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shoot, my headphones went quiet for a second. Sorry. Loki was in the first Thor movie as the main villain. Then he's the villain in the Avengers. And now we're doing, he's kind of the Hannibal character. For lack of a
kind of funny that he's in that movie as the Hannibal with Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's funny.
It's kind of like, if they do a trilogy with Thor, I think we've had enough Loki. Not that I don't...
Actually...
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I think that Marvel is doing a lot of juggling here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're doing a good job. And that's what I'm expecting going into this movie, is that they're going to continue doing that wonderful job of being able to juggle an entire universe, but still make a movie compelling enough to go see for the individual characters. This is Thor's movie, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be Thor-centric.
Sure.
But they are still doing such a great job of juggling Loki into it. Loki's just one piece of it. But
Right. And I got the impression that many of the other characters are going to be a little bit more heavily featured than they were in the first Thor. Some of the other Asgardian accessory characters. So, we'll see Sif developed a little bit more deeply, the Warriors 3 to some extent. So,
yeah, that would be awesome if they could develop Thor's Thor's individual universe, not just because they even make the joke. What Jane's friend says, "Oh, you're all still muscly and everything." It's like they're playing on they're selling into the eye candy world, but I really do like.
My wife goes to these movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree with those sentiments. I have high hopes for this one, that it'll be better than the first one. Now, I know a lot of people like the first one. I just kind of felt, compared to the other Marvel movies, it was a little weak. It was just, we need to get Thor onto the playing field for Avengers.
Before we put Avengers out, right? Yeah.
Right. And that's how that movie
sort of how
felt.
it went in my head, too.
Yeah, it was like, they could have done a much stronger movie, I think, but it was good.
I think it was the movie it had to be, though. Like, I think it was a good introduction of the character by giving him that, because the whole, the pathos of the story was, he had this, he wasn't necessarily young per se, but he acted young. He was impulsive. He was brash, and you wanted to have some sort of catharsis for this character. You wanted to have him earn, his spot as being Thor, like becoming worthy. And I think that they did that well. And maybe, I don't know. I actually really enjoyed the first Thor movie. I thought it was well done. I didn't have any complaints about it, really.
I agree with Ben on this. Just for the idea that you have to, when they're bringing in the idea of Thor, this is Marvel at its genius. They're bringing in a character that has a completely different story to the rest of the superhero kind of the mythos that comes into the Avengers, and that's really their goal. Right. Their goal is, we're going to make an Avengers movie. Let's get all these characters out there and in people's minds. Yeah,
let's establish these characters.
So that's what they did with Thor. The first Thor was actually that. It was, I think, well done in this aspect of, we're introducing every single thing you need to know.
Right, background for this character.
Yeah, before you get into the actual main stories.
Right.
And that's what I think this one's going to be. It's going to be a main story. It's going to be a very well written story. I'm hoping.
Well, hopefully. And yeah, I agree that there's definitely, all of the movies are, and most of the heroes, these stories are sort of origin stories. Like, you got that with Captain America and Iron Man. Those were growth stories and origin stories of them coming into becoming what they are. With Thor, he already technically was what he was. So you had to have his origin story be something different, and I think that that's something that he actually managed to do pretty well by having his catharsis be, rather than him becoming Thor, it was him. Well, he's still becoming Thor, just in a different way.
Well,
he wasn't a superhero at first.
Right. He just was an alien who is naturally super strong and lives forever.
Right.
I guess my issue, when I really think about it, is I didn't find the relationship between Thor and Jane Foster that believable. Like, it just didn't seem like he fell in love with her. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe not.
I don't know if that was just the chemistry between the two actors, if that was the way it was written. But it's like, think about it this way: he's a god,
Yeah.
I know they're trying to avoid that.
For lack of a better term.
Right. They're trying to avoid that in this universe. But he's a god. He is the leader of this, one of the leaders of this world. He has all this power, and in the comics, he gives all of that up so he can be with Jane Foster on Earth. At one point. And
right.
And I don't get that feeling like Thor would give up all of this stuff so that he could stay on Earth with her,
I don't know if he has to do that, though. I mean, I understand that is the canon of it, but I don't know if that's necessary. Like, I think that what I gathered from the first Thor is that while we did have Jane, Jane Foster came to definitely have feelings for him, he was sort of single-minded in his focus, that he just wanted to get his hammer back, essentially. and get back to Asgard, and that transformed over the course of the story. But I would think it might have felt a bit forced